Hello everybody and welcome back to Ashley Shamise. So I know I've been missing in action. So to give you all a quick little rundown of what's been going on with me. So I recently graduated. Can't even say graduated. Hello. Yay. And now I work for myself. Yay. And I do not work in a toxic workplace environment. Haven't worked in one of those since 2020. The last time I worked in a toxic workplace environment was 2021. I quit my last toxic workplace environment in summer of 2021. And it's been really good since then. However, a couple months ago, I did have somebody reach out to me in reference to a company that is well known in the field that in the profession that I work in now. Someone reached out to me and I went on the job boards to go do like a internal check of what the job culture was like. And this was a remote job and it was 2 thumbs down, and I hurried up and told them no. So thank God in business for myself. I may make another video about that. I don't know. But today I want to make a video in reference to another way of navigating through a toxic workplace environment. So this has to do with your emotional bank account. At times in a toxic workplace environment, we are not aware of how much of our emotions that we deposit on other things, right? Or that we withdraw from ourselves onto other things. The principle of money can be applied to how you give out your emotions. For example, when it comes to money, that's when people get really funny. That is when the quietest of them all will show their true colors when it comes to money. That same principle should apply in a toxic workplace environment when you give out your emotional currency. So think about it like this. You have $1,000 of emotional currency in your bank account. Are you just going to haphazardly spend that all around in the toxic workplace environment? No. You're going to want to take your time and see who and what situations are warranted of your emotional currency. I wrote some stuff down and I'm going to share it with you all today. So, relating your emotions to money. When it comes to money, you're not just willy-nilly giving it all out to the world, right? You're very, very calculated of how you distribute your funds. Well, the same principle applies when it comes to your emotions, especially in a toxic workplace environment. If you are turning around giving somebody your emotional health and currency, just like you can become financially bankrupt, you can become emotionally burnt out. So you have to ask yourself these questions when you're going into work, and you're especially in a toxic workplace environment and you just hate it. How much of your emotional currency are you spending in that workplace? How much do you need to set aside and how much do you need to set aside and save? How much are you willing to give, into whom, into what in this toxic workplace? And how much are you like, no, I'm not going to give it at all. I'm not going to subject my emotional health to this, and this is where I draw the line. Those are some good things to think about when it comes to your emotional health. Think about the emotions that you are withdrawing from your emotional bank account. Is it being reciprocated? So say that you're going out of your way maybe to, I don't know, for the sake of this conversation, you're going out of your way to maybe listening or helping somebody with something on your job that may not be so black and white. Maybe there's layers to it, and and those layers happen to involve your emotions. After you're giving your emotions, are you noticing a return on what you're given? Is it reciprocated? Or are you just dishing out this money and there's nothing to show for it? And it's sad, that we are in a time now that you have to look at your emotions like you would money in a bank account. But honestly, I think it's very wise, especially because a lot of people take advantage of, they will. If they see an end, they will take advantage of your emotions. I've been there, done that. I actually have a story to share with y'all in relation to this very topic. Before COVID, I worked for this warehouse job, and the warehouse job that I worked at the time was right before I worked in my very first toxic office environment. But anyway, so when I worked at this warehouse, there was this lady that would come in there, and every time she would see me, she would just dump. Like, I'm talking about stuff that she probably should not have talked to me about. Some of the stuff she shared was really detailed. And honestly, she probably she needed a therapist. Anywho, being the person that I was at that time, I wasn't aware of how much emotional currency that I was spending. So I would be listening to this lady, and just really like invested in trying to help her and give her advice and all this crazy stuff. And I remember at one point she had shared with me that she was trying to stop smoking. And so I remember I was like, yeah, once you get to a certain point, let me know and we can go celebrate. I can take you out to lunch or whatever. Given too much. Was nothing being returned. All that she was getting from me was a place to dump her trash, and I paid for it with my emotional currency. So I wasn't getting anything in return other than junk. So anyway, long short, something happened. Fast forward, I wasn't able to be there 100% for her like I was during the time when she would, tell me all this personal stuff. Then when I started to switch up, and it wasn't geared towards her, it was other stuff that was going on at the time that had really nothing to do with her. But that's when I noticed she flipped on me, and she was like, oh, she's different, and where my free dinner at? And mind you, I wasn't given the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't like, hey, what's going on? What's new with you? Is everything okay? None of that. No checking on my emotions. There was nothing reciprocated. It was all, what about me, the lady? What about me? Where's my this and this, and this? And so that was a turning point for me. Unfortunately, it wouldn't be the one-all be-all, but life is really the best teacher. So is experience, because that's what really helps you on down the line. And I really hope that this is helpful. When I'm saying I hope that it's blessing someone. But be mindful of what you're giving out to people. And I would say give a little bit, some emotional currency that you don't mind losing, and seeing how that goes. And if that goes pretty good, then maybe give a little bit more. But always be mindful, because look at your emotions like money. Look at your emotions like they are valuable. I have on here, sometimes you have to save up your emotions, right? So you might be like, what do you mean save up your emotions? Well, if you have a lot of things, if you have something that's pending, say that you have maybe you're planning to move, or maybe you're going to have a child, or you're going to start a business endeavor, that's going to require some emotion. It is. And you don't want to run yourself thin over here with something that may not even be needful of your emotions, because like I said earlier, just like, or I don't know, maybe I did say this, I don't know, maybe I did or didn't say this, but just like people can become financially bankrupt, you can become emotionally burnt out. So you don't want to be over here dealing with something that is perhaps a waste of time, but then over here, on down the road, you got to be present and ready for what's to come. And You don't have time to be cashing in on emptiness. For example, I saw I saw this post on Facebook of this young girl. She claimed that she was 23 with 3 kids, and she said that she was in the worst place of her life, and she repeatedly in the video kept talking about how she does not wish this on her worst enemy, how hard her life became at 23 with 3 kids and a baby daddy who wasn't really present. So one of the things that stuck out to me as she was talking was, she said that when she was pregnant with these children that she had, she would always hear someone say, "Oh, I'm a have you. I got you. When you have those kids, they have a place to stay. I'll look after your children. Don't worry, girl. I'm gonna be there for you when all this, continues." So, come to find out, after she had her kids, she found out that nobody was there for her. She said her village was a little to none, and she found herself having to live hand to mouth because nobody was there to give her what she put in. She put in all this emotional expectation, and now she's paying for it. She was crying. I think she was talking about where she tried to unalive herself because she just strongly disliked where she was in life. And if you get to the point to where you want to unalive yourself, somewhere, some place along the way, you've given up too much. You've given up way too much of the emotional currency that you have. People failed to give her what she expected, and now she's paying with it, with this emotional hardship, kind of like a financial hardship. Now she's paying with it in her emotions. So I'm saying all this to say, when it comes to a toxic workplace environment, be very mindful of how you extend your internals to other people, because at the end of the day, these people in this job are just random. They can quit at any time. A new person can come in at any time and quit, and you could quit and say, "I'm done with this," and go to another job. And another thing, 9 times out of 10, most people are not going to give you the warm and fuzzies, and I know most of you all, if you're watching this, you have an idea that, that's true. There's people out there who cut off their emotions going into these jobs because they've already been emotionally burnt out. Just like financial bankruptcy, they've been emotionally burnt out. Oh, one more thing. So I wanted to add this in. Part of giving up your emotional currency may look like asking questions, facial expressions, patterns. If you're always the initiator, if you're always the starter, be mindful of that, because people get accustomed to it, and then a pattern develops, whether one or the other is aware or not. And then people go into this expectation mode of expecting you to be there to comfort them in a toxic workplace. And of course, I'm not talking about those who need it and those who appreciate it. I'm talking about the people who will suck the life out of you, knowing that you're a person who's a giver, a person who cares. A lot of people don't know how to respect that. They just take. Some people can't even say thank you. Like, thank you so much for listening to me, or thank you so much for just being a presence or warm presence. Be mindful of that. Hopefully this helps. I hope this blesses you all. If it does, write it down in the comments below. Share it with somebody, whatever have you. Thank you all so much for the recent subscribe to me. I appreciate it. I know I am not as consistent as I would like to be, but I am going to do better now that I have some free time. I'm going to try to post more on my channel, and topics related to the workplace and mental health. And I thank you all so much for watching and following. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.